Sarah jolted awake. Her heart pounded against her ribs. In the thick darkness, she struggled to steady her breath, listening to the rain hammering against the window. An uneasy feeling crawled up her spine. Beside her, Midnight, her cat, stood frozen, fur bristling, letting out a low, guttural growl. His green eyes glowed in the darkness, locked onto a corner of the room. Sarah swallowed hard, her throat dry. She glanced around, and her stomach dropped. The bedroom door was wide open. But she distinctly remembered she had locked it before going to bed. She sat completely still, every nerve in her body on high alert. Midnight didn't budge. He remained fixated on that one spot in the room, eyes unblinking, muscles tensed. It was as if he could see something she couldn't. The air in the room felt heavier, thicker. The darkness itself seemed to close in around her. A cold sensation slithered down her back, and though she couldn't explain it, she felt it. Something was there. Has your cat ever acted strangely like this? Staring at nothing? Growling for no reason? Jumping up as if they just saw something that you couldn't? Maybe you've shrugged it off, thinking, oh, it's just a cat being a cat. But what if it wasn't? Tonight, we're diving into one of the greatest mysteries surrounding our feline companions. Could they be more than just pets? Could they be spiritual guardians, gatekeepers between worlds? What if your cat has been trying to tell you something all along, and you just didn't notice? And if you've ever had an experience like Sarah's, maybe you, too, are one of the chosen ones. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Grace Bible Stories. Every video you share might reach someone who needs to hear this, someone searching for answers they don't even know they need. Now, let's step into the mysterious world of these extraordinary creatures. Section 1. Why are cats drawn to the chosen ones? Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that Midnight had seen something she couldn't. Even after that eerie night, her cat remained more watchful than ever. He would sit by the bedroom door, staring as if waiting for something, or someone. He followed her more closely, his green eyes always seeming to study her, like he understood something she didn't. At first, she tried to brush it off. But deep down, a question lingered. Why was Midnight acting like this? And why did he seem so connected to her? If you've ever had a cat that behaves as if it knows more than it should, choosing to be with you over anyone else, watching you with an unsettling intensity, appearing exactly when you need comfort, you might have wondered the same thing. Why are some people seemingly chosen by cats? And what does that really mean? The answer lies in something beyond the ordinary. Cats don't just interact with the physical world, they sense what's hidden beneath the surface. Unlike humans, who rely heavily on sight and logic, cats navigate through energy. They pick up on vibrations, emotions, and even unseen forces in ways we can barely comprehend. Have you ever noticed how a cat reacts when entering a new space? It doesn't just walk in blindly. It pauses. It observes. It feels the energy. Some places they enter freely, tails held high. Others, they hesitate, ears twitching, whiskers sensing something imperceptible to us. Now, imagine how they react to people. While humans judge each other by words, appearances, and actions, cats read something deeper, your energy. They don't care about your status, your wealth, or how well you present yourself to the world. What they sense is the raw, unfiltered frequency of your being. Some people emit a certain vibration, one that is heavier, weighed down by unresolved pain or anger. Others carry a lightness, a sense of peace that draws animals toward them effortlessly. But then, there are those with something different. those who are deeply intuitive, spiritually aware, or in the midst of personal transformation. These are the ones that cats are most drawn to. Sarah didn't realize it at the time, but she was changing. After her divorce, she had felt disconnected from herself, like she was drifting through life without purpose. But Midnight seemed to sense something shifting in her before she even did. He wasn't just her pet, he was observing, guiding, waiting for her to recognize something within herself. This connection between humans and cats isn't just superstition. Throughout history, different cultures have recognized the mysterious bond between them. In ancient Egypt, cats were worshipped as sacred beings, believed to have the ability to communicate with the spirit world. The goddess Batet, often depicted with the head of a lioness or domestic cat, was not just a symbol of protection but a guardian of hidden knowledge. Egyptians believed cats could ward off evil, protect their owners from harm, and even detect supernatural presences. In Japan, the Moneki-Niko, the famous beckoning cat, is seen as a bringer of good fortune, often placed at the entrance of homes and businesses. But beyond just luck, Japanese folklore suggests that certain cats can recognize and bond with spiritually gifted individuals, bringing them insight and guidance. Even in Christian traditions, while cats are not directly mentioned in the Bible, the role of animals as divine messengers is undeniable. The story of Balaam's donkey, who saw the angel before its rider did, reminds us that sometimes, animals perceive what we cannot. If God can use a donkey to deliver a message, who's to say he couldn't use a cat? Of course, some might argue that all of this is just legend, just myth. But modern science suggests there's more truth to these ancient beliefs than we realize. Research on bioelectromagnetic fields, the energy that surrounds all living beings, reveals that our bodies emit measurable frequencies. When we experience stress, grief, or even spiritual awakening, our energy fields shift. Cats, with their highly sensitive nervous systems, can detect these changes. Studies have shown that cats respond differently to people in emotional distress. Unlike dogs, who may respond with immediate affection, cats tend to observe first. They assess. They wait. Then, when the moment is right, they act, curling up beside you when you're anxious, rubbing against you when you're lost in thought, placing a paw on your chest when your heart is heavy. They are not reacting to your words. They are responding to your energy. This is why they are drawn to some people more than others. If a cat has ever chosen you, it's not random. It means something. Sarah didn't believe in energy fields or spiritual connections. But she couldn't ignore the way Midnight's behavior changed in sync with her emotions. On days when she felt particularly lost, he wouldn't leave her side. When she started praying again for the first time in years, Midnight sat quietly beside her, almost as if he were keeping watch. And the night she finally allowed herself to grieve everything she had lost, he did something he had never done before. He placed his forehead against hers and purred. Something inside her cracked open that night. Maybe, she thought, Midnight wasn't just her cat. Maybe, he was sent to her. So if you have ever wondered why a cat seems unusually drawn to you, if they appear in your life during moments of deep transition, if they follow you like a silent protector, if they watch you with eyes that seem to know, consider this. What if it's not just a coincidence? What if your cat has been sent to you, just as Midnight was sent to Sarah? And if that's true, what message are they trying to tell you? Stay with me, because in the next section, we're diving even deeper. If cats are drawn to certain people, what happens next? Could they actually be protecting them? Sarah thought Midnight was just watching over her. But she was about to learn that he was doing something much, much more powerful than that. Section 2. How cats protect their owners. Sarah started noticing patterns. Midnight wasn't just acting strangely, his behavior had purpose. He moved differently, as if he was guarding something. Every night, as Sarah settled into bed, he would patrol the apartment, his tail flicking, ears alert. At times, he would sit by the door, completely still, his green eyes locked onto something invisible. Other nights, he would wake her, pressing his paws against her chest, his body tense with urgency. At first, she brushed it off. Maybe he was just restless. Maybe he heard something outside. But then, the feeling began. A heavy stillness in the air. A pressure, subtle but undeniable. The kind of feeling that makes the hairs on your arms rise, that presses against your skin like something unseen is watching. Midnight would sense it before she did, his body stiffening, pupils dilating, tail lashing from side to side. Sarah wasn't sure what was happening, but she was sure of one thing. Midnight was protecting her. For centuries, cats have been known as guardians, creatures capable of sensing and shielding their owners from unseen forces. Unlike dogs, who defend their owners with physical strength, cats protect in a different way. They are energy guardians. Have you ever noticed your cat choosing certain spots in your home to rest, especially after an argument or a stressful day? Some believe that cats absorb negative energy, restoring balance in a space. It's as if they instinctively know where tension lingers and choose to cleanse it. When a cat curls up beside you, presses its warm body against you, or purrs softly, it's not just seeking comfort, it's providing it. Studies show that a cat's purr vibrates at a frequency that promotes healing, reducing stress, and even lowering blood pressure. It's as if their very presence is designed to realign your energy, pulling you back from chaos into calm. Sarah had never thought of Midnight this way before. But the more she paid attention, the more she realized he wasn't just reacting to her emotions. He was managing them. Whenever she felt overwhelmed, Midnight would find her, press his head against hers, purring with a rhythmic intensity. She had always thought of it as affection. But now, she wondered, was he healing her? And then, there was the most mysterious part of all. Cats don't just sense danger. Some believe they predict it. There are countless stories of cats detecting illness in their owners long before any symptoms appeared. Some will rest against the exact area of the body where sickness resides, while others will refuse to leave their owner's side, becoming unusually clingy or vocal. Hospitals and nursing homes have documented cases of cats who seem to know when a patient is near the end of life, appearing at their bedside as if to offer silent comfort. Science suggests that cats may detect changes in body temperature, scent, or behavior that signal illness. But even with scientific explanations, one fact remains: cats know before we do. Sarah had always been skeptical of these kinds of stories. Until that night. Midnight was staring at her bedroom door again. But this time, he wasn't just watching. He was growling. A deep, guttural sound, unlike anything she had ever heard from him before. His fur bristled, his body low to the ground, his eyes locked on something beyond the doorway. Sarah's breath hitched. She turned toward the door. Nothing was there. The room was silent. But the air felt wrong. A heavy presence pressed against her chest, thick and suffocating. Every instinct in her body screamed, "You are not alone." Midnight took a step forward, then another. And then, he lunged. His claws slashed at empty air. His hiss cut through the silence. And suddenly, the pressure lifted. The heaviness vanished. Sarah sat frozen, watching as Midnight slowly lowered his body, his ears still twitching, his breath still coming in sharp bursts. He turned to look at her. And in that moment, she knew. He hadn't just sensed something. He had fought it off. Some believe that cats see beyond the veil of reality, perceiving what we cannot. Some believe they protect us from things we don't even realize are there. Sarah didn't know what Midnight had seen that night. But she knew, without a doubt, that whatever it was, it had been real. So if your cat ever refuses to enter a room, stares at nothing for too long, or reacts to something you can't see, maybe they're not just being strange. Maybe they're protecting you. And if that's true, what exactly are they protecting you from? Stay with me, because in the next section, we'll uncover the 5 signs your cat may be trying to warn you, if only you know how to listen. Section 3. How to recognize when your cat is warning you. Sarah began to notice something strange about Midnight. It wasn't just that he was watchful, he was waiting. Some nights, he would sit at the foot of her bed, completely still, his eyes fixed on a single point in the room. Other times, he would follow her from room to room, his tail flicking, as if he was making sure she wasn't alone. It was unsettling. Midnight had always been independent, a cat who enjoyed his space. But now, it was as if he was trying to tell her something. Sarah didn't realize it at first, but she had begun to trust Midnight's instincts more than her own. If he refused to enter a room, neither did she. If he sat staring at the door, unblinking, she made sure to lock it. If he avoided a certain guest, she started wondering why. Midnight was her silent guardian, and the more she paid attention, the more she realized he had been warning her all along. Many people dismiss strange cat behaviors as quirks, random staring, sudden clinginess, or unexplained aggression towards certain people. But what if they're not random at all? What if your cat is trying to protect you, to warn you about something beyond your awareness? Cats have an incredible ability to sense changes in energy, shifts in atmosphere, and even detect things that the human eye cannot see. In ancient times, they were revered as spiritual gatekeepers, capable of detecting forces beyond the physical world. And even today, if you pay attention, you might notice your own cat sending you signals, warnings that something is off. So how do you know when your cat is trying to tell you something important? 1. Staring at nothing, or something you can't see. Have you ever caught your cat fixated on a corner of the room, eyes wide, pupils dilated, tail twitching? It's easy to dismiss. Maybe they're looking at dust, a shadow, or just spacing out. But what if they're not? Ancient cultures believed that cats could see beyond the physical plane, sensing energies and spirits that humans cannot perceive. Some paranormal researchers even suggest that cats react to unseen presences, picking up on movements and shifts in energy. Sarah thought Midnight was just staring into the darkness. Until the night he growled at it. 2. Sleeping in unusual places. Cats are creatures of habit. If your cat suddenly starts sleeping in a new place, especially near your head, your chest, or the doorway, it might not be a coincidence. Some believe that cats position themselves strategically to protect their owners from unseen forces, forming a barrier between them and whatever may be lurking nearby. Midnight had always slept at the foot of Sarah's bed. But ever since that strange night, he started curling up on her chest. Close. Protective. She didn't mind. In fact, she slept better that way. 3. Reacting strongly to certain people. Have you ever had a guest over only for your cat to immediately dislike them? Maybe they hiss, hide, or just keep their distance. Sarah used to think Midnight was just picky. But she couldn't ignore the pattern. The people he didn't like? They always turned out to be the ones with bad intentions, the ones who drained her energy, the ones who left her feeling uneasy long after they were gone. Cats don't care about words. They care about energy. If your cat reacts negatively to someone, maybe you should ask yourself, why? 4. Following you everywhere. Some cats are naturally clingy. But if your independent cat suddenly won't leave your side, something might be wrong. Midnight had always been comfortable doing his own thing. But now, he was always there. At first, Sarah thought he was just being affectionate. But then she realized he wasn't following her out of love. He was following her because she wasn't safe. 5. Purring that isn't just a purr. We all know that cats purr when they're content. But sometimes, purring has another meaning. Cats also purr when they're trying to heal themselves, or you. Studies have shown that the frequency of a cat's purr has therapeutic effects, helping to reduce stress, promote healing, and even lower blood pressure. So when Midnight curled up next to Sarah and purred against her chest, she felt something she couldn't explain. A warmth. A sense of protection. Like he was telling her, "You're safe. I'm here." Have you noticed these signs? Have you ever noticed your cat staring at something invisible? Sleeping in a new place? Acting strangely around certain people? Following you when they usually wouldn't? Have you ever wondered if they were trying to tell you something? Maybe it's time to start listening. Because if a cat chooses to warn you, it might be for a reason. And if that's true, what have they been trying to tell you all along? Section 4. How TOs strengthen your spiritual connection with your cat. Sarah had never truly thought about her bond with Midnight until everything changed. She had always loved him, of course. He was her companion, her comfort, the quiet presence that made her apartment feel like home. But after witnessing his strange behaviors, the way he warned her, the way he seemed to sense things she couldn't, she began to wonder. Was Midnight placed in her life for a reason? If cats truly have a spiritual purpose, maybe they're not just pets. Maybe they are guides. So how can we deepen that connection? 1. Practice stillness with your cat. Cats live in the present moment. They don't rush. They don't stress over the past or the future. If you pay attention, they can actually teach you how to slow down and be fully present. The next time your cat curls up beside you, try this. Take a deep breath and feel their warmth against your skin. Listen to the rhythm of their purring. Let it calm you. Allow yourself to just be, without distractions, without rushing. Many believe that meditating with a cat enhances spiritual awareness. Some even say a cat's purr isn't just a sound, it's a vibration that aligns your energy, easing stress and bringing balance to your mind and body. Maybe that's why, throughout history, mystics and healers have always been surrounded by cats. Not just as pets, but as spiritual guides. 2. Show gratitude to your cat. Cats don't beg for love. They don't need constant attention. They choose to be with you. And that choice is a gift. Acknowledging your cat in small ways can strengthen your connection. Whisper a quiet thank you when you see them. Make time to bond with them, beyond just feeding or petting. Create a cozy space for them, a soft blanket in their favorite corner. Sarah started practicing this with Midnight. Every night, before bed, she would place her hand on his head and say, "Thank you for being here." Midnight never answered with words, of course. But somehow, she felt the shift. A silent understanding. A recognition. As if he had been waiting for her to truly see him. 3. Cleanse your space for your cat's protection. Cats don't just live in your home. They protect it. If you believe that cats absorb negative energy, then it's only fair to help maintain the space they work so hard to guard. Here's how you can cleanse your home's energy. Burn sage or light incense to clear out stagnant energy. Open windows and let in fresh air to refresh the space. Keep your home tidy. Cats thrive in peaceful, uncluttered environments. Sarah started doing this, too. On days when she felt drained or overwhelmed, she would light a candle, take a deep breath, and sit with midnight in the quiet glow of the flame. She wasn't sure if it changed anything in the world beyond. But in her heart, she felt lighter. And sometimes, that's all that matters. 4. Talk to your cat like a true friend. Cats may not speak our language, but they understand our energy. When you talk to your cat with genuine emotion, they can sense what you're feeling. Try telling your cat about your day. Share your joys and worries with them. Whisper something kind as you pet them. At first, Sarah felt silly talking to Midnight. But then she noticed something. Whenever she spoke, he listened. There were moments when she felt alone, lost in her own thoughts. But one look into Midnight's eyes, and she knew she wasn't alone at all. 5. Believe that your cat was sent to you for a reason. Have you ever felt like your cat wasn't just a pet, but a part of your journey? Maybe they were placed in your life to protect you. Maybe they were sent to guide you in ways you never realized. And maybe all you have to do is listen. What about you? Have you ever felt an unexplainable bond with your cat? Have you ever wondered if they were placed in your life for a reason? Maybe they're waiting for you to notice. Maybe they've been trying to tell you something all along. And maybe all you have to do is listen. A divine protector in disguise? The spiritual mystery of your cat. And then, Sarah finally understood. Midnight had been watching over her all along, not just as a cat, but as a guardian, silently protecting her in ways she had never realized. Maybe your cat is doing the same. Maybe they weren't placed in your life by chance, but as part of a greater plan, one that we often only recognize when we look back. Throughout history, cats have been woven into mystical stories, tied to spiritual guidance and the ability to sense the unseen. But one thing remains certain: we are never truly alone. God can send us signs, angels without wings, and sometimes, they come in the form of a cat. When a cat chooses to stay by your side, when they protect you in ways you can't explain, take it as a reminder that you are watched over, you are loved, and you are never forgotten. Maybe, if a cat has found its way to you, if it sees you in a way others don't, then you are one of the chosen ones. So the next time your cat stares into the darkness, curls up in an unusual place, or follows you with unwavering loyalty, don't ignore it. Pay attention. Because maybe, just maybe, God placed them in your life to protect you.